excited. We are in Las Vegas attending the 3rd of the 8th 4th Infantry Division reunion. And this is my second year attending, and we knew we met Hank. This will be like 4 years now. So thank you for joining us on Facebook Live. And ladies and gentlemen, our special guest is Hank Castiglione. And could you please introduce yourself to the social media audience and what your role is, please, sir?
I'm Hank Castiglione. I'm retired Brigadier General, and I served with the 38th Infantry over 50 years ago as a young man at 21 years old. Yes.
Oh, my goodness. So I see all these medals here, and you did retire from?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And how long have you been retired?
I've been retired about, I'd say, I retired in 1998.
1998.
Yeah. And we've, after that, I served in public service. I served as mayor for 8 years in our little community in Green River, Wyoming. That's really where we reside. And then I kind of wanted to continue with my my public service career, but then I was soundly defeated when I ran for commission, which to me was a blessing in disguise, because I think after that I said, well, I think it's time to really enjoy life and enjoy your grandkids and your family and time. So that's kind of what I've been doing.
Well, I think that's a good plan, and what a great way to spend retirement. Anyway, we are at this great event, and thank you for welcoming me back for the second time. I appreciate you. And what does this reunion mean to you, sir?
Well, to me, it means getting back to some of the, this thing for us started somewhere, I think, about 20 years ago. For me, here in Las Vegas, when the unit, after so many years, had no idea what was really taking place or took place during some of the events that we had in Vietnam. One particular one where we had an event was what we refer to as Hill 947.
Okay.
And at that time we had quite a an event in which we lost almost half the company of soldiers. And that kind of, and later on, many years after it was declassified, we found out that the operation was called Wayne Gray. And at that time, of course, everything was classified, and we had no idea what was really taking place. So we met here in Las Vegas, some of the soldiers, and they asked myself, another platoon leader, John Bauer, Mike Doherty, the commander at that time, and they asked us, they said, hey, could you find out what really took place? So it was a quest for about, I'd say, maybe 3, 4, 5 years in doing research, and of course some of the research that was accomplished was by the soldiers themselves, and of course, we knew what took place because being the headquarters and with all of the transmissions of radio transmissions back and forth, so we were able to come back with a fairly accurate account of what took place. John Bauer took the information later and put together a synopsis, and it's on the IB website under Hill 947, Operation Wayne Gray, and if folks want to read about that, it's there. Later on, there was he continued on with the Delta Company members, and we were in the position, and our mission was to save, or not to save, but augment a company of 38th, and that's a company that was really in bad shape, and they lost, I'd say, probably 60% of their folks.
Oh, Hank, excuse me, I've heard about this. Yes. Was this around, for our social media audience, we're streaming live, was this around 1968?
68, in March of 1969 during the Tet Offensive.
Okay.
The events took place 3, 4, 5, and 6 of March.
Okay, so sorry to interrupt, I just wanted to make sure.
Those are special days for us, and so that's kind of, so John went ahead, and I'm sorry that John was not doing too well. He's not was feeling well, and was not able to make the this event. But anyway, he went ahead and he did some more research and wrote another article on Alpha Company, and that's also on the website. And of course, it has the and both those articles were featured, I believe, in the VFW magazine. Okay. And so it kind of gives you an account of what took place in, during that particular time.
So when you mentioned the VFW magazine, for the social media viewers, they can Google the VFW magazine, and what would maybe key words they would search for?
Probably look at Hill 947, and the other event was the Play Trap Valley account of the.
Okay. So, Hill 947. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then there's also a book. John wrote a book. There's a book, and it's called. What is that name of that?
Okay, let me think about it for a second.
I think we mentioned it earlier. I think it is 947.
No, it was. I'll think about that in a second.
Okay, and I will, when we are done live streaming, sure. When we get the book and John's name, I will post it, so then they can look at that. What is John's last name? Do you remember?
John Bauer.
John Bauer, yes. I interviewed him a couple years ago, and and I hit the book. The name of his book escapes me as well. Yeah. All of this excitement. So I could just tell there's a lot of special bond here at these reunions. And you all are from all over the United States, and I just think it's wonderful that wives are here as well, family members, because, you all did sacrificed for our country, and many times the families and loved ones are within that sacrifice as well for life. So we really appreciate that.
It's interesting that we do these types of things to preserve some of the heritage, and I believe that these events have some healing power behind them, because there's folks that have again, like I mentioned, had no idea what was really taking place. Yes. Because we were 19, 20, 21 years old. Like I said, I pursued my career on until for 36 years, and understood and attended the Army War College, and was able to learn more about war and why war was fought, and then come back and continued on some specific research on what took place. So I had an opportunity.
Well, I think it's wonderful, and for our social media audience later, I'm going for veterans, combat veterans and their families, if they would like more information on this group, or maybe how to connect with another reunion in their company or platoon, I think I will give that information as well. Just if somebody's searching for a group like this to be to get a hold of, unless you have any suggestions for our audience.
Well, the thing is that if they have an understanding or can find out how, it's always great to meet some of the folks that you've served with and exchange stories, and in some way it's kind of a welcome home, because that's one thing that this generation never received, a welcome home, an official welcome home. So those are some of the things that some of these people are looking for.
Yes, sir, I agree. So. Hank, thank you so much for joining us.
Well,
pleasure. Thank you for sharing everything with us tonight on social media, and what a special group.
And if they want more, find out, Google 941, Operation Wayne Gray.
Okay, Operation Wayne Gray.
That's right.
Wayne Gray. I think that's part of the title of the book. And I wanted to give a shout out to Leslie Gillen. She's in Naples, Florida, and she's been watching this whole time. So Leslie, thank you for watching this special segment and being a part of tonight in Las Vegas at the 3rd of the 8th 4th Infantry Division reunion. Thank you.
Good luck, Leslie. You bet.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.